Oh, hello there. Oh, come on in. Come on into my shop. Yes, I was expecting you. Oh, yes, of course. I would be a very bad oracle if I didn't expect you to come here. Absolutely, yes. Well, I don't really know who you are. I just sort of have a brief idea. But I know that you were going to come here, and I know that you want me to tell you your fortune. Now, does that sound like something you'd actually want? Now remember, telling someone's fortune is a very scary business. Now, in these modern times, I could be hung for this kind of thing, but I do think the needy and the weary, those who are impoverished, they need all the help that they can get. So if you needed to be, needed some guidance, I could be that for you. Do you think it... Okay. So you think this is a little bit of devilry? Well, what I can say is that I have spoken to the devil a few times. He's a very, very lovely man. So what if we have a relationship? It's not really something that comes into play when it comes to my business. Absolutely. Okay then, well, let's just go ahead and get started then, right? So how this is going to work is I'm not able to just look into your future. See, that would be too easy, right? If someone just looks into your future, that just doesn't work. How this is going to work is that I'm going to have to divine different images that I will then trace onto a page, and you are going to need to recognize or guess what these things are. If you do recognize these images, then that means that is part of your fate. That is part of your future. If you don't recognize the image, then it's not a part of your future. Now, I will be going through a few of them because as I go through, as I sift through all of the different fates that are in your future, it is going to be a little bit dastardly. It's going to be a bit difficult for me. So you're going to have to bear in mind, not every image is of portent, is going to be your fate, but it could be, right? So just keep that in mind, okay? Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and get started then. So we have a page here. This is going to be our canvas. So I'm going to draw the first image. You are going to have to guess what it is, okay? Okay, so it's a tracing thing. You're not going to be able to see any lines. Afterwards, I will draw it, just so that you can get an idea as to what it was. But if you had guessed it or not guessed it, would have been before that, okay? Okay, perfect. So here we go with the first one. It will be... See, I'm looking into the future, and it's really... Okay. That's the shape that I've drawn, the image. Can you guess what that is? Okay, I'll draw it one more time. So let's just go ahead. There we go. How's that? Okay. Well, let me draw it properly for you now. So, here we go. This is an egg. What's really interesting is that this is a portent of your future, right? So an egg really can mean like a new beginning, a sort of finding yourself. So a really good question to ask yourself is, do you feel at home in your body? Do you feel like everything that you have, everything that you are is correct? correct, because this might indicate that you have some things to work through. And just because you may have guessed this, but, keep in mind that this is me grabbing at the weavers of fate, and it's not 100% accurate, right? But this is an egg, so it is going to, it's a new beginning for you. You are just sort of a hatchling, that sort of thing. And so, really, you have to make sure that you're able to look inward and know that you are true to yourself, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. This is going to be a bit difficult here, I think, because I can sort of imagine it. So, let me just look into the future. Let me pluck it from your fate, from the weaves of fate here, there, and then, okay, so next, I think, what was that? Okay, I can do it one more time. Every time I do it, it does drain a lot of energy from me. It's a dastardly thing. It is really. I did not have a proper breakfast for this, so just. Okay. What was that? What do you think this was? Okay, well, let me draw it for you so that you can see. So it will be... Here it is. So it's a heart with an arrow through it. That's what that is. So if you did get that, you might not have told me, but if you did feel like that was what your guess, and that was definitely, it definitely means that there's going to be love in your future. It doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be platonic or anything, but some form of love is going to be in your future, right? And I think that, considering you had an egg beforehand, it does mean that after you find yourself, if that one is accurate, then, it could be that once you find yourself, you really blossom, and someone finds that very attractive, very endearing, perhaps, and it's you have to really think of it that way, right? Because you have to look inwards and love thine self before you love thine others. So that is my second fortune for you. Let's go ahead and draw the next fortune, alright? So, let's see here. The next fortune, of course, is going to be, let's see, let me just look, let me look. Let me pluck it from your fate, pluck it from your fate, pluck it from your fate. Okay, I think I've got it, Okay, so it's... That was a bit complicated, wasn't it? Yes, don't feel bad if you don't get it. It is your fault if you don't get it. I can't be clearer, so let's just... Okay. What do you think that is? It's right there. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and show you what it is now, shall we? So, see. that is a piece of cake with a strawberry on top. So what this really symbolizes is domesticity, right? So I think with the love that we just saw beforehand, this is going to lead to some domesticity, some happiness, right? Some sweetness. You might say that it might be a bit too sweet depending on the cake, right? So perhaps you feel very, very elated. You'll feel very overjoyed, right? And you know, in these days and these times, I think that being really overjoyed, it can cause a lot of envy. So you're going to have to be careful. So just be aware of the kind of thing that you'll be sort of showing other people, right? If you have a lot of sweetness in your life, it's going to rub off on people, and people are going to try and take advantage. So you have to really be careful, okay? All right then. So there's that one. Let me just really, okay, pluck it from your face. I just need it, you know. Just need to grab it. Okay, perfect. So next we're going to draw something. It's a bit interesting. It is a bit interesting now that I think about it. Okay, so the next thing is what is that? Okay, I'll do that one more time. It came to me a little bit differently that time. Yeah. You know, I have to really take a sort of ethereal form and put it into like an image. So excuse me if it's not perfect. You know, not everybody's perfect. Okay. Here, I'll do it one more time for you. So just there and that. Okay. So let's go ahead and figure out what it was, wasn't it? Don't we? Okay, so there. I know it looks a bit interesting. It's a pitchfork. Yes, it was a pitchfork. Now, ill tidings, I must say. It's very, very ill tidings. What does that mean? Well, it means that, remember when I gave you a warning about being sweet in public or being overly joyous and how people might be envious? Well, this is what it might lead to, right? So you have to be careful because people might come after you. And if they do, then who knows what will happen. Now, of course, you know, you could run away, you could, you know, give up on life. You could join a monastery. I hear it's very good for people. You know, both good and bad people go into the monastery. It happens all the time. But whatever the case is, I would say that you should be a little bit careful, okay? So find yourself, find that love, find that sweetness, but then be a bit careful, okay? Okay. So, there. How do you feel? Good. Okay. Well, we still have a bit more. Okay. We've got a lot more actually. So, let's go ahead. Let's see. What am I going to get from your fate this time? Okay. So, let me think. Okay. And just pluck it from the fates. Pluck it. Oh my gosh. It's truly interesting. Very interesting. Are you okay to hear something you might not want to hear? Or to read something you might not want to read? Okay, you want to continue. Okay, well. So. What do you think that was? Think long and hard what that might be. Let's try try again, okay? So. What's that? What was that? It's very, very important whether you get this or not. Okay. Okay, then. Do you see that? It's a guillotine. Doesn't look like it's going to end well for you if you got this. There you go. You could see it's a bit wobbly. You know, it's a bit difficult to pluck these ideas from fate. But you know what? It's better that you know now. You know, so just be careful. You know, if you've got this, it's going to be a bit hard. Okay. Next. Because there's more, right? It might not end here. This is one of many options. So, next, let's go ahead. Okay, are you ready? Okay, you're a bit shaken. Okay, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Relax. We're going to keep going. I think it's important for you to see this out, all right? You came here for a reason. You know, you decided that you wanted to get in with this devilry, so we're going to go ahead and do it. So, let's go. And this one I already plucked from your fate. What was that? What was that? Let's go ahead. What do you think that was? Okay, let's go ahead and get it for you. Okay. Hold on. There we go. That says R.I.P. This is a gravestone. Unfortunately, you know, this is a symbol that you're going to die. If the guillotine was a little bit subtle for you, I think this might be, you know, but everybody dies, right? So this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to die anytime soon. But I do think that, you know, being able to sort of see this is a bit interesting, right? So it does mean that it's going to happen in perhaps a way you don't expect. Perhaps, you know, with the guillotine, you know, sometimes they don't sharpen them really very, very well. So if that is the case, then it might, you know, take a few tries to really sever. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, let's look at the last one, okay? Let's look at the last one because I think that it's getting worse and worse. And if this one turns out to be poor, then, you know, I'll go ahead and I won't charge you very much for this. It will just be a small amount, you know, just sort of your land and whatnot. Yeah, okay. So let me just... I'm trying to get the last one because this last fate must be important. You know, I feel like there's this last one that I must pluck. So just okay. So think I've got it. So let's go ahead. What was that? What do you think that was? Okay, let's go ahead and do it one more time. What was that? Okay. Let's go ahead and draw it for you. It's a ghost. It's a happy ghost. I think this... You know what? I think this does mean that you're going to have a happy end. Even if you die, you might just be happy in the afterlife. You know, it's just one of those things that you have to really think about. You know, perhaps you have to suffer in life, have like a whirlwind romance, you know, be beheaded and killed, and then become a happy ghost. Okay? So, that is your potential future, depending on how many of that you've got. Now, of course, I went through it, just sort of knowing that what all of them are. But if you didn't guess any of them, maybe you were just guillotined and you never had that romance, right? Perhaps your life was even more miserable than I expected. So, you know, that's just something for you to think about. If there's any questions that you have for me, then now would be the time. Okay. You know, I'll take that feedback. I'll implement it. And you know what? I will try to be a bit more careful about the kind of fortunes that I give to people. Yes. And of course, I will talk to the devil. Yes. All right then. You have a great one. And make sure, if you do get guillotined, make sure it's sharp so that it's a swift one. Okay then. Bye-bye.